Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy you're here. If you're new, welcome. I'm excited to have you along for the journey. And if you have seen me before, I'm so happy that you're back. If you like the video, if you could comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, I would really appreciate it. Alright guys, so let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about tea. Now, not the tea. If you have any good tea to spill, I'd love to hear it. But we're going to be talking about herbal tea today. So, I love tea. And back during the beginning of COVID, I started growing my own herbs and decided, why can't I make my own herbal teas? And so that really, I guess you could say that was really the big, what's the word? So that was really the thing that took my herb garden to the next level. Now, I've only been growing herbs for a little less than a year now. So I don't have enough herbs to supply us with for the entire year. So I'm going to talk about some things that you can grow on your own, depending on your climate. 2, some ideas to substitute for herbs that either don't grow where you're from or you don't have enough growing in your start of an herb garden. And then I'm just going to talk about some different ways that you can make tea and ways to experiment and try lots of different things. All right. So before I get into it, I'd just love to say, if you have any recommendations on how you make herbal teas or a favorite recipe, anything, I would love to hear it. I always love new ideas. I love experimenting. So definitely put it in the comments for me. All right, so let's first talk about herbs that you grow. So I got my little basket here and then a clean pair of scissors. This is how I collect herbs from my garden. So as you may have seen in my tour, I have this little area that I call my herbal oasis, and that's where I grow different herbs. This here is lemongrass, and highly recommend this for tea. For those of you who may not know, I live in Tampa, Florida, so we are in zone 9B. So I cannot speak for other climates and other areas as to what grows well for your area, but for our area, lemongrass does amazing. It grows so quickly. I've repotted, I got it like this big, and I've repotted twice at least already, and now it's like in a pot about this big, and it's growing into the ground like it needs to be in a new pot. So lemongrass is a great one to grow, and all you have to do is just, go up to the plant, take a couple of sprigs off of it, and you can fold it up like this. Some people have a whole bunch of stalks. They'll fold it up like this and just do a straight lemongrass tea. Then I also have this here to demonstrate. This is a little bit of peppermint. I grow like 6 different types of peppermint. Now that it's cold in Florida, they're all kind of a little sad looking and they don't have a lot growing. But hopefully with spring, I just got a whiff of the peppermint. But yeah, there's so many different types of mint that you can do. Again, I like experimenting, so I mix all kinds of different herbs together in tea. But what you can do, if you have mint or any other type of herb that you would like to use for tea, you can cut it off like this, put it directly into the tea, or you could start drying it. So definitely numerous ways to use this in tea. And then I also did a little bit of cutting of hibiscus. I have a false roselle, I believe it's called, and you can use the leaves as well as the flowers, and it just makes such a great tea. You can also use it in salads. So that's a little bit about fresh herbs. You can, like I said, cut them and put them right into tea or whatever you're cooking, or you can dry them, save them for later. If you have a plant that's just doing super well, cut some of it down and dry it, and then it'll last you through the cold months like this. So highly recommended basket for your herb cutting. Now, what if you live in an area where you don't have a lot of space to grow herbs, or it's super cold and some of the herbs that maybe here in Florida we can grow don't do well? Maybe you're like someone like me that doesn't have huge plants of herbs yet, that it's not going to last you all year, or maybe there's just certain things that you want to try. So what I have found that I love is sprouts. Not every Sprouts here in Tampa, but for sure the Sprouts on Bruce B. Downs has this type of thing. And I know that a lot of other places and markets and things like that, you can get fresh herbs. So, or I should say dried herbs, but let me just show you this. So at Sprouts, they have jars with lots of different herbs and spices, and what you do is you just put however much you want into a little baggie, and they weigh it. However much it is per ounce is what you pay, and then yeah, lots of herbs. So sometimes like these cinnamon sticks also came from Sprouts, but I'll put them in glass jars sometimes when I have extra glass jars to store. And for example, this here is chamomile, and I do have a few little chamomile plants, but they haven't, one, grown big enough, two, they haven't had any blossoms yet. So it's very difficult to get lots of chamomile. So I love a good chamomile tea to relax in the evening, so I buy chamomile from Sprouts. Now, pretty much all their spices are so reasonably priced. You're generally not going to pay much more than $2, $3 maybe if it's super full like this. And it's much more fresh than like the ground up tea bags that you get. You can definitely see the flowers in here, so you know that you're getting a good product. This here is rose hips. I don't really know how to grow rose hips yet. If you know, I would love to know about edible rose bushes because I really want one, but I haven't quite found in my research what to do. So this is another one I buy. And then like star anise and cinnamon sticks, I don't really have the capacity to grow. I don't know if they grow in Florida. So these are also great. And there's so many different types of herbs that you can get from there. So definitely recommend checking that out. Another idea is citrus. So citrus is really, really good for you. And the really cool thing about citrus is that you can use every part of it and none of it goes to waste. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll cut up a lemon, lime, orange, grapefruit, whatever kind of citrus you like or you have, cut it up, squeeze it into water, and drink some lemon water, for example. Once you're finished with the lemon, what you can do is you can take everything that's left, you know, all the pulp and the rind and all of that, and boil it down in your tea, and you get numerous uses out of it. So it's a great way to be conservative of the environment, eliminate food waste, and then once you've boiled it once or twice, you can compost it. So it's just such a great way to use every part, get all the nutritional value you can, and use it in numerous things. Oh, I was going to show you guys this also. So a lot of times what I'll do with my dried herbs is I'll mix a variety of them together and just store them like this, and I have pre-mixed tea. All right, so I've kind of given you a handful of different ingredients to use. So how do you make the tea? There's lots of different ways. So a pretty popular common way I would say is to have a mug. Now I just have to give this mug a shout out. This is from one of my favorite stores based out of Lakeland, and it is from Shop 27. And it says types of tea, and it's different color dots with different types of tea. So it's such a fun mug to drink out of. So If you were using a tea bag, you could just plop it in there. You are good to go. But if you're wanting to experiment with herbs and loose leaf teas, you can get something like this, which is, I believe they're called a tea diffuser. All you would do is open it up, put all the herbs in there, just close it back up, set it in, and if you're lucky, it has a little hook that you can set it on. And what I like to do with all of my herbs is I usually will boil them at least twice, if not 3 times. So if you were doing your tea this way, you'd pour the hot water in, let it steep for a little bit, then you could just take it right out, set it on the dish. You finish up your tea, an hour or 2 later, you're ready for another cup of tea. All you gotta do is put it back in and pour some hot water again. It usually is a little less strong, so just keep that in mind. You may want to do a little bit less water, but depending how many herbs and things you have in there, sometimes it's still very strong the second time, and you could boil it a 3rd time. Another really cool thing is this cup that I have from Thrown and Grown. Now I'll be sure to reference their Instagrams in the description of this video so that you guys can check it out too. This is so cool. So this is something that they make. It's like their own pottery, lots of different colors and designs, and it comes with a metal straw that has a strainer. So with this kind of cup, you can just throw all of your herbs right in there, pour the hot water on, let it steep and cool a little bit, and then you can drink without getting anything up in your straw. A great way if you're making tea for numerous people or you'd like to put some away in the fridge is a tea kettle. There's lots of different ones. I got this off of Amazon for like 18 bucks or something like that, and it's been great. So you have this here, which is similar to the other concepts. You'll just put all of the herbs in there, put the water in, put it on, and then it goes on the stove top. You can also heat water if you're going to use it with any of these cups. You could just heat straight water up in there and use that to pour over the herbs in the cups. I have an electric tea kettle that works. You can use the microwave. You could use a pot on the stove, however you like to heat your water. So that's a little bit about the different things. Now, lastly, I'm going to talk about my favorite way to sweeten is local honey. Now, depending what type of tea, you may not need a lot of sweetener. If you're trying to cut out sugars, you may not need any. But my husband and I both have a lot of sinus allergy issues, and this local honey always is so beneficial. This one here came from a different place than we normally buy, and it's really good. But the one we normally buy here in Tampa is Eden's Nectar, and it's really good. They have different seasons. Just really, really good, and helps so much with our allergies. So this is my favorite thing to sweeten tea with, because you get a little bit of sweetness, and then it's also helping with your sinuses and allergies. However, I've definitely done agave, brown sugar, you could do maple syrup. Lots of different ways you can sweeten it. The thing about tea is you can customize it, make it your own, try different things. There's no wrong way to do it. A lot of times if I have leftover tea, I will put them in the refrigerator in a glass jar, and it'll last for 2 or 3 days. You can drink it cold, heat it up after. Glass jars also work really great for putting your herbs in after. So that's a pretty high level of different ways that you can make tea and enjoy tea, and a few different ideas of ways to experiment. If you want to check out my Instagram page, I've definitely got a handful of videos with specific recipes, and I'll be continuing as I try different things, and I'll definitely be posting some on my YouTube page here. But I wanted to just kind of give a little introduction to how I use tea and how I make tea and how I customize it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. If you did learn something new, let me know what it was. And again, if you have any tips or anything that you love, I'd love to hear. And again, if you could like the video, subscribe, I would appreciate it. It helps me grow and expand my community of plant lovers and tea lovers and all of those things. So have a great day, guys. Bye.